Hi, Harina fourth graders. So I'm really excited today to be teaching a lesson to you. And it's really weird. I'm used to having all of you in front of me, but we're going to do the best that we can. So today I want to start by reading my Walt. So today we are learning to determine character traits using evidence from the text. Okay, so we haven't been to school in a while, so I just want to refresh your brains a little bit about some of the important words that are in this Walt. So first, we're going to see the word character. Just want to remind you that a character is a person, an animal, or some sort of object in a story. But it's important that characters can think, they can feel, or they can act. Okay? What is a trait? A trait, specifically of a character, are words that describe a character's personalities or qualities that make them who they are. And traits don't often change. Feelings in a character can change often, but traits pretty much remain the same. So what is a word that could describe someone? That would be a trait. What are they like? And the last thing I have is evidence. So we know we always ask you to use evidence from the text. So those are words pulled directly from the text. And today we're going to see what evidence we can find that tells us what trait a specific character is. So today we are going to focus on a character from Champ. So for the past 2 weeks you have been listening to your teachers read Champ aloud. And today we're going to do a little bit of work thinking about one of the characters. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time thinking about Riley. Riley is our main character. Now, I'm going to pull this off. So under character, we have Riley. And we're going to focus on Riley the whole time. Okay, Riley is going to be our focus today. And we're going to figure out what kind of character is he? What type of person is he? What is he like most of the time? And I decided today to just give you the trait, and then we're going to search for some evidence together. So the trait that I chose for Riley begins with a D. Can you think of what that might be? What is a word that often can describe people? Begins with a D, and then an E. Did anyone guess? Determined. So today we're going to find some evidence that proves that Riley is determined. So determined is the trait that we are going to focus on today. All right. So far we know that our character is Riley, that our trait is determined, and now we're going to do the big work, and we're going to figure out what in the text tells us that he is determined. All right. So I want everyone to think back. This was 2 weeks ago. This was in chapter 4, the first piece of evidence that I found. So think back. Riley was at the vet, and Mrs. Lerner was there too. And she's telling the vet that she just is going to put him down. And Riley can't even believe that she's saying that she's going to put the dog down just because he has 3 legs. Mrs. Lerner says Riley could never afford his medical expenses. And when she says that, Dr. Fayette says, hey, I think we can work something out so that Riley can take Champ home. And then Mrs. Lerner says that Champ is useless. Well, at that part of the story, Riley says something that's really, really important. Riley says, Champ isn't useless. Give me a chance and I'll prove it. So right there, That is really good evidence that proves that he is determined because he literally will do anything to save Champ's life. Even though he knows it's going to be really hard. Even though he knows his parents might not agree with Champ coming home and living with them. So this evidence proves that Riley is determined. Now I have a column over here because in our evidence, we're going to find either actions, things that the character did that proved he was determined, or words, things that the character said that proved that he was determined. Can anyone tell me if these are actions or words of Riley? What do you think? I think you're right. These are words. Specifically dialogue, because it came out of his mouth. He actually said it to someone else, so we know that that counts as dialogue. Nice job. All right, now we're going to move down to the next one. So we know that we're focusing on Riley. We're trying to find ways that he is determined. I want us to think back to chapter 7. Riley's mom and dad, even though they're not thrilled about it, they decide to let Champ stay in the house because he's distracting all the neighbors with his barking. And the days start to get longer for Riley. He has a lot of stuff he has to do. And I found all of these things listed. So it said, Champ liked going for morning walks. So Riley has to take Champ for a walk every morning. It says, after school, I had to hurry home to walk him around the yard and play tug-of-war with his chew toy. Then it says, 2 afternoons a week I'd head for Dr. Fayette's office. And then it said, the other days I'd go to ball practice. Those are a lot of things that he had to do in a day or a couple of days to be able to take care of Champ and be a good owner. He was so busy, but he was determined to do whatever it takes to prove that he's a responsible owner, to prove that he's a good owner, because he wants to be the best he can be for Champ. Now, are these words that he's saying? Or is it something that he's doing? What do you think? Is it a word? Or is it an action? You're right. It's an action. It is something that he is doing. He is walking the dog. He is walking the dog again. He is playing tug of war. He is working at Dr. Fayette's office. He is going to ball practice. Those are all verbs. Those are all doing action words. All right, you ready for the last one? Okay. The last one, the evidence I found was in chapter 18. And I believe, let me just check, but I believe chapter 18 is the last chapter. It is. Moment of truth. This happened in chapter 18. He is at the Founders Day agility competition with Champ. And he hears some negative talk in the audience. Guess who it is? Mrs. Lerner. And then he's just feeling really nervous about running Champ in this course, even though all the hard work they've done. And then he suddenly sees Mr. Douglas. So the evidence I found says, I saw Mr. Douglas then. He stood by the fence, apart from everyone else. He gave me a nod. It was time, and I knew I couldn't run away. Not now. Not from this. So this proves that he is determined. He has done all of this hard work. He's been determined in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end of the book. He is a really determined person that wants to make the best life for Champ. So he's determined here to prove Mrs. Lerner wrong. and allow everyone to see that Champ is not useless, that Champ is a really good dog, even though he's different from other dogs. All right, last question before we're done. Are these words or is this an action? They're words. But these words are a little different because these words are not coming out of his mouth. Other people can't hear them. So we can't say that it's dialogue. Instead, we're going to say that they're thoughts because this is something that he is thinking. He sees Mr. Douglas. He knows that he couldn't run away. Not now, not from this. That's it. So, I hope today you learned how to determine character traits using evidence from the text. And today we determined that Riley from Champ is a determined character. See you next time.